हाय हेलो वेलकम एवरीवन। कैसे हैं आप सब? मैं भी अच्छा हूँ। एंड JIGL में another important chapter that is law of torts. Exactly. So law of torts के बारे में क्या-क्या चीजें आपको पता होनी चाहिए एंड law of torts दिसंबर अटेम्प्ट के लिए कौन-कौन से क्वेश्चन जरूर देख के जाइएगा। ओके और अभी तक आई होप आपने जितने भी पिछले क्वेश्चन है उन सब की मार्किंग कर लिए एंड यस वो टॉपिक्स याद से देख के जाना एग्जाम्स के हिसाब से। ये चैप्टर में आप देख के जाना क्या है, व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय द टर्म टॉर्ट, या फिर एक जून 21 का क्वेश्चन भी था, टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूट द टॉर्ट देयर मस्ट बी रॉन्गफुल एक्ट एंड लीगल डैमेजेस। तो ये टॉर्ट होता क्या है? टॉर्ट एक सिविल रॉन्ग है और जो पर्सन टॉर्ट करता है दैट इज अ टॉर्ट फीसर। ओके, एक रॉन्गफुल एक्ट है जहां पे रॉन्गफुल एक्ट कंडक्ट होता है, जहां पे लीगल डैमेजेस लीगल रेमेडी राइज होती है। तो ये बात जरूर देख के जाना। Another important topic that is called damnum sine injuria या injuria sine damnum. So ये injuria sine damnum और damnum sine injuria भी एक बहुत important topic रहा है। Damnum means harms or loss which is caused in respect of body health और injuria means an infringement. So जहाँ पे injury damages claim कर सकते हैं, that is the maxim clearly means that if a person has suffered a damage and he has no action in tort because the damage is not interesting is affecting his right. Okay, so that is called damnum sine injuria. Whereas somebody has done an injury without any damage, but there is an injury and that injury is affecting your legal rights, so injuria sine damnum जरूर देख के जाना, बहुत ही important topic में से एक है। okay? उसी के साथ साथ एक जून 9 का एक केस लॉ भी था कि डिफेंडेंट द शिप ओनर्स एंगेज टू कैरी टी टू चाइना offered reduced rates to shippers with the view of monopolize the trade and to oust the plaintiff. The result that the plaintiff, a rival trader, was driven out of the trade and suffered losses. Can the plaintiff get a compensation? Well, नुकसान जरूर हुआ है, but that's a damnum sine injuria. There is a damage without the infringement of a legal rights, and वहां पे कोई compensation नहीं आ सकता। उसी तरह एक और case, okay, the case was a suit is filed by Raju against Chitra Cinema for restraining itself from playing the film Santoshima on the ground that Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati are showing doing acts in the film which hurt the religious sentiments. Will the plaintiff succeed? Well, यहाँ पे again the question is of damnum sine injuria, that is damage without an infringement of right. यहाँ पे religious sentiment is involved, but that is not recognized as a legal right, and therefore यहाँ पे उसको curb करना मुश्किल है. But yes, over the period courts have taken different opinion in different cases also. So ये answer suitably उसके हिसाब से शायद change भी हो सकता है, जहाँ पे court एक religious rights या peace and harmony को maintain करने के लिए भी अलग से recognize कर सकती है. Another important topic, what are exceptions to the rule of strict liability, or what do you understand by strict and absolute liability, and what are the exceptions? So ये बहुत ही important topic रहा है torts के हिसाब से कि strict liability क्या है, the rule of Rayland versus Fletcher. Okay, so principle is very clearly laid down that जहाँ पे गलती हो जाए, and if you keep something at your own peril, and if that thing run away or causes loss to the other parties, then it is a strict or an absolute liability. But yes, there are certain exceptions to the rule, that is natural cause of natural damages, या consent of the plaintiff was taken, या act of the third party या statutory authority ने recognize किया था, या act of God या escape due to the plaintiff default. So ये कुछ एक exceptions भी हैं. उसी तरह एक एग्जाम का पॉपुलर केस रहा है, a mill owner employed independent contractor to construct a reservoir on his land to provide water for his mill. There were old disused mining shafts under the site of the reservoir, which the contractor failed to observe because they were filled with soil, and therefore the contractor did not block them. And when the water filled in the reservoir, it burst the shaft and flooded the plaintiff's coal mines on the adjoining land. Is the mill owner liable to compensate for the loss? ये exact case था Rayland versus Fletcher का. तो ये केस के अंदर you can always cite Rayland versus Fletcher का केस, और इस केस में क्योंकि उन्होंने इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर ने वो नेग्लिजेंट थे, वो ध्यान नहीं दिया, as a result the strict liability rule will come into picture. Okay, so ये कुछ एक केसेस जरूर देख के जाना उसके साथ साथ, And another important topic, vicarious liability. Yes, not to be ignored topic, vicarious liability. So vicarious liability, that a master is vicariously liable for the tort of the servant. Okay, so some examples like principal or agent liability, partners liability, then liability of master and servant, employer independent. Okay, और vicarious liability के ऊपर एग्जाम में क्वेश्चंस भी रहे हैं, जैसे the managing clerk of a firm of solicitors, while acting in the ordinary course of business, committed fraud against the lady client by fraudulently inducing her to sign the document transferring her property to him. He done so without the knowledge of his principal, and without will the principal be liable for the fraud? Well, ये clear था कि यहाँ पे principal is not liable for any kind of fraud. Well, in some cases, the person may be held liable for tort which is committed, and he who acts through the acting himself, so that the act of the agent is. So when a person is committing a tort in the ordinary course of business, then the principal is liable for it. But the fact in the given question is Lloyd versus Grace का case, and the principal was made liable. Okay, so very important case, good case, जरूर पढ़ के जाना. Mrs. Swaraj is an employer of ABC, appointed Rakesh as an independent contractor, discussed whether the circumstances Swaraj would be liable for the fraud. Well, यहाँ पे भी employer is vicariously liable for the torts. Okay, इस case में Swaraj is the employer and appointed Rakesh as the independent contractor. It may happen that three ways, where the employer authorizes him to act as a tort. In torts, strict liability is enforced and negligence of the independent. Well, in the given case, Swaraj would be liable for the fault of Rakesh in the above three circumstances only. Okay, so वो part भी इधर clear हो गया. Then we come to the other part, that is discuss vicarious liability or tortious liability of the state of the act of his servant, relevant judgments के साथ. तो कब ये vicarious liability state तक जाती है? When can the state or the government be made liable? Remember, the government is liability in the tort is before the court, and whether the particular government is liable give rise to a tort or not is this, or whether the government was exercising the sovereign function or not, it has to be decided by the court. And it is a sovereign function that can, by which the government can claim the immunity from the tortious liability also. State of Rajasthan versus Vidyavati ka case bhi tha. That is a driver of a jeep owned and maintained by the state of Rajasthan. He drove rashly and negligently while taking back and caused an accident. Well, he knocked out the pedestrian and fatally injured him. The state was sued for the damages. The Supreme Court held that the state is vicariously liable for the damages which has been caused by the negligence of the driver. यहाँ पे भी Supreme Court ने state को liable किया था. Very unique case. Okay, do read it for your examinations. Then the other case or the other point that you must remember is torts. Is that torts are wrong to personal safety or freedom, or distinguish between battery or assault. What do you mean by malicious prosecution? What do you mean by libel or slander? ये जितने भी torts के personal safety के जो parts आते हैं, सब अच्छे से देख के जाना. What is a battery? What is an assault? Okay, battery का मतलब क्या रहता है? It's an application of the force to the another individual. What is the assault? Well, assault is directly causing or apprehending to be caused any kind of hurt to the other individual. Then bodily harm क्या रहता है? False imprisonment क्या रहता है? Malicious prosecution क्या रहता है? And certain essential elements of tort to be put. And nervous shock कैसे रहता है? Defamation के cases क्या आते हैं? ये सब tortious liability के अंदर cover होते हैं. Libel and slanders भी उसका ही part आते हैं. Okay, तो ये सारी चीजें देखना जरूर, भूलना नहीं, ठीक है? And discuss the 4 extrajudicial remedies under the tort. Yes. And what remedies can be sought under the tort? So देखना damages, injunctions, specific relief. तो रहती हैं extrajudicial जैसे self defense हो गया. That is one of the remedy that you can claim. Prevention of trespass. Yes, that's another remedy that you can take. Re-entry of land पे entry करने की कोशिश करना. Abatement of nuisance. That is one other remedy that you can claim. Okay. Another December 21 का question था. Explain the liability of the master for the act of the servant. ये again vicarious liability का ही question था. अच्छे से देख के जाना because कई बार exam में questions repeat हुए हैं. So don't forget them. एक और क्वेश्चन था द लैटिन मैक्सिम डेमनम साइने इंजूरिया एंड इंजूरिया साइने डेमनम. इसको एक्सप्लेन करना था सिंपल वर्ड्स में. एक एक पैराग्राफ में आप देख सकते हो आंसर एकदम प्यार से पैराग्राफ में एक्सप्लेन कर दिया गया था. what is demnum sine injuria, injuria sine temnum. Okay, and discuss the concept of false imprisonment under the law of torts and cite various law in support of their. तो फॉल्स इम्प्रिजनमेंट क्या होता है, जहाँ पे किसी भी पर्सन की पर्सनल लिबर्टी इन्फ्रिंज हो जाती है, वो फॉल्स इम्प्रिजनमेंट. जहाँ पे अनऑथराइज रिस्ट्रेंट करते हैं, बॉडीली हार्म करते हैं, वो फॉल्स इम्प्रिजनमेंट है. सुनील बत्रा वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का कोर्ट तुम ले सकते हो. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इंटरप्रेट किया था कि देयर इज अ इम्प्लाइड ड्यूटी ऑफ द जेल सुपरिटेंडेंट्स टू गिव द to give reasons for putting fetters on the prisoners without invalidity of the grounds under Article 21. The Supreme Court laid down the foundation and the administrative principles. So आप किसी को भी कभी भी कैसे भी सजा नहीं दे सकते. वो पुलिस स्टेशन की ड्यूटी है उसको बताना कि कब कौन कहाँ था, ताकि उस दिन की नोटिंग के हिसाब से सारा काम हो सके. Okay. And yes, explain the exceptions to the rule of strict liability. ये अभी ऊपर देखा, and yes, ये जून 22 के अटेम्प्ट में आया है. इसे अच्छे से पढ़ के जाना, इसको इग्नोर करना नहीं. Okay, and critically examine the applicability of the rule in torts. Yes, enterprise क्या बोलती है Raylan versus Fletcher rule के हिसाब से, इसे भी जरूर देख के जाना. क्रिटिकल एग्जामिनेशन. सो इसके साथ साथ जितने भी पार्ट्स हमने अभी तक डिस्कस किए उन्हें देख के जाना, भूलना नहीं. ओके, so all the best for your exams and keep studying. Bye.